Alrighty guys, I know this is a long video, so if you guys just want to skip straight to where I explain pretty much how to increase your bench press, go to this time slot in the video and that's where it starts. So yeah, enjoy the video guys. What's going on guys? Welcome to another video. As you see from the title, today's video is going to be surrounded all about bench. How to increase your bench press, what did I do to increase my bench press, because I believe out of all the lifts that I do, squat, bench, and deadlift, my bench is the most, I wouldn't say impressive, but it's the most like intriguing. Like I bench close to mid 300s, and I've probably am more proud of like my bench press other than the other two lifts, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so today is going to be revolved around the bench press. Today I'm going to bring you guys through my push workout. I mean, you guys have seen it multiple times, but at the end of the video, I'm going to basically just break down everything that I believe that you should be doing to increase your bench press. So let's go to the gym. All right, y'all, we are at the gym, East End Fitness. Just wanted to tell you guys what is about to go down. It's the last week of my hypertrophy block or my volume block. So usually what I like to do at the end of every block is to kind of push it a little bit, because my percentages or the RPE that is prescribed for me in the program is usually hot, like the highest it will ever be in the block. So I kind of use that as an excuse to kind of push it just a little bit, not necessarily like to like a PR type of session, but it's mostly like higher percentages. As you guys know, I don't like to say the number because I get inside my head too much, but I don't know. We'll see how we feel in there, and we'll go from there. Just a little context on how like my bench training is set up. I bench 3 days a week, one heavy day and one lower, not really lower intensity because it's still pretty high intensity, but it's still like a volume day. And then there's a third day that I only do just some low intensity volume on my deadlift days. So essentially I am benching 3 days a week. Alright, reflection on that top triple. That first one really scared the shit out of me. I was like, I don't know if I misloaded my right side, but it scared me. But the last two were perfectly fine. But yeah, that was a good moving 315, apart from the first one. But yeah, pretty happy with that triple. 315 to 320 was like the number that I had in mind. But yeah, pretty happy. Alrighty guys, little like reflection on today's session. It was actually really good. Apart from the little, I wouldn't say mishap on like my first rep of bench, but all in all today's session was great. Top triple moved really well, definitely how I wanted it to. I was really surprised on my back down sets, they actually moved pretty well. I definitely could have gone probably to 255 or maybe 260 for the 4x5, because they actually moved pretty fast. But I'm pretty happy on how they moved. Pretty happy on how incline moved. I new PR of 205 for 10 was pretty easy. Definitely had like 210 or 215 in me, but I'm increasing the weight every week on that, getting pretty strong on that. And then pretty happy with shoulder press. All in all, great session. So you guys are watching this on Friday. The reason for it is because I wanted to get in both bench sessions this week to just kind of show you the little difference on how both of them are. Other than that, I mean, yeah. So I'm going to end this part of the video here because we're pretty much done with the push workout. We're going to pick it up on Thursday with the second bench session. What's going on, guys? Welcome to day number 2 of bench. We matched our all-time PR of 340 for 1. Pretty happy about that. So I'm going to explain pretty much the structure of this bench day after, because I'm trying to get out of here, because I think spent like an hour in here already doing bench. I just got to finish up with accessories and then I'm out. So let's finish this up, then I'll explain this bench day structure after. What's up, guys? I know it's a change of scenery, but I'm at work right now and I'm in like their little workout studio area. Alrighty, guys, so the structure of my second bench day is as follows. It's basically a top single at a similar RPE than I have on my first bench day, but it's only for a single. And then the back down set is going to be what differs. So the first bench day is going to be kind of like lower volume, but it's going to be heavier weight. But the second day is going to be higher volume, lower weight. Both days are pretty much similar as of after the fact. So basically after the bench sets, on my second day is going to be only 1 push compound instead of 2. And then shoulders and optional triceps if I decide to do it. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's basically the structure of my second bench day compared to my first. So the next clip is going to be me breaking down the bench press so you guys can increase your bench press and break all the PRs. Alrighty, guys, so this is the part of the video that you guys have been waiting for, and I am ready to spill the mother effing beans. Let's get started. So disclaimer, I don't claim that I know everything in the world. I don't know everything about bench. Obviously there's like 1,000 ways to skin a cat. So at the end of the day, you gotta do what works for you. And I have been lifting for 6 years now, and I've tried a lot of stuff to help increase my bench press, and I believe that these things that I'm going to tell you are probably things that everyone could use and kind of incorporate in their own training and help them increase their bench press. So yeah, so let's get started. Another thing, don't butcher my handwriting. My handwriting is not the best, I know, so don't butcher me, please. Alright, so first thing before we get into the tips, let's break down the bench press. So there's there's two main muscles obviously used in the bench press, but at the same time there are four muscles that that kind of work together to basically like make up the bench press. So the first two, chest and triceps, are the main muscles that are going to be used for the bench press. Obviously, when you're pushing something off your chest, that's going to be mainly using the chest, and then the triceps are going to be the secondary muscle that you're using. And then the shoulders are going to be also assisting, but not that much. You shouldn't be feeling a contraction of any sort when you're bench pressing in the shoulders. I'll get to that later on when I go through the tips. And then back. So the back is mainly used for basically supporting the weight. So basically when you're coming down, when you're descending into the bench press, you kind of like, the back is there to kind of stabilize the weight and not be all over the place. So yeah, so those are the muscles that are used in the bench press. Obviously the bench press is a full body movement. It's a full body movement because you are using more than these muscles. You are using your legs for leg drive. So I'm gonna also get to that when we get to the tips, but yeah, so the legs are also not necessarily a big factor, but it's also there to kind of stabilize you on the bench as well. Yeah, so the next thing is basically the form, basically the technique that that everyone should be incorporating in learning the bench press. There's like numerous ways. Like for me, as you see in my bench press, I arch really, like I arch a lot. The reason for it, it's a little hot in here. Yeah, get some air. But yeah, so when you're bench pressing, you don't need an arch. You don't have to arch when you're bench pressing. The reason why that I arch a lot is because it gives me a mechanical advantage during a bench press. As a competitive powerlifter, you're trying to move the heaviest amount of weight in the shortest distance possible. That's why you see a lot of powerlifters have these ginormous arches and their range of motion is like 2 inches. You don't have to mimic that. The first thing that you should be doing, so retracting scapula or retracting shoulders. So what that means is when you're flat here, so when you're bench pressing, you want to instead of having a flat back, you want your shoulders back like here. So basically with you retracting your shoulders, your chest is going to be pointing horizontal instead of vertical. Your chest is basically facing your head, and then your shoulders are going to be in a less compromised position. So that's why when I said before about you shouldn't be feeling any sort of shoulder contraction, that's the reason why. Because you want to, with you having your chest in this position, your chest is in a more optimal and stronger position, and your shoulders are in a less compromised position. So that is the reason why. So next thing is going to be feet under you. So that goes into basically, I'm gonna pop up a picture, but you guys have seen multiple like videos of mine before. But yeah, so the feet is mainly the feet is there under you for basically stabilizing you on the bench, and also leg drive. You should be using like a little bit of leg drive. A little bit of leg drive will help you drive the weight off your chest. And then the next thing is going to be elbows in close. So with your elbows in close, I'm not saying like have it like super tucked in, but basically don't have it pretty much like horizontal on your body, like this. You want your elbows to be a little bit closer to you. The reason for that is because one, it activates your back so you can stabilize the weight, and also when you're pressing up, your triceps are going to be more involved. So the more muscles that you involve into the bench press, the more stronger you're going to get. So retract your shoulders, feet under you, and elbows in close when you're pressing. All right, now to the tips. Tip number 1, to help increase your bench press. Build muscle. The reason why not, I mean, that's self-explanatory, but what I mean is that build lean muscle, healthy muscles, strong muscles. So basically what that does is basically just build muscle. Like, it took me a long time to increase my bench press into mid 300s. So I owe a lot of my bench strength to basically putting on muscle in the supporting muscle groups. So basically the muscles that we talked about before, chest, shoulders, triceps, and back, I just packed on a lot of muscle. Just basically progressively overloading exercises to help build up those muscles. So if you haven't watched my last video on basically why you should track your workouts, I mentioned in there about progressive overload. So basically if you progressively increase weight on all of these movements for all the muscles, then you're going to get stronger in all of the muscles. Then in results, your muscles are going to get bigger and stronger. So rule number one, tip number one is basically build lean muscle. That also goes into like the diet, like your diet on a daily basis. Obviously if you're eating junk food all the time, then it's going to take you longer for you to build muscle. Like, you have to feed the muscle in order for it to get stronger, for it to be healthy and stronger and bigger. So you have to eat, whole foods, protein, carbs, and fats. That's just going to help your muscles grow. So that's tip number one. So tip number two is going to be frequency. What I mean by that is basically the number of times that you train the bench press. Obviously everyone, like in the beginning, I definitely recommend for you to, to like bench press once a week if you have time. Obviously people aren't like me and can train 5 to 6 times a week. Like once is fine. But at the same time, in order for your progress to speed up a little bit, it means that you have to increase your frequency, which means increasing the amount of times that you train. That's just like the bench press every single week. Obviously I said in this video that I train bench 3 times a week, but honestly, in my opinion, what I recommend you guys is to train bench twice a week. One heavier day and then one lighter day. The frequency best works for like a push-pull leg split, but obviously I mean that's the most popular split now that everyone is doing, so twice a week is perfect. But like if you do like a like specific muscle split, like back biceps, chest, triceps, shoulders, legs, that's 4 times a week. So I mean, you would progressively overload that one day. So basically you're not going to make the excuse that, oh, I only do bench press once a week, so I'm going to do it heavy every single week. Obviously, like for example, on my great segue, on my incline bench, I have been increasing weight every single week, but it's not like a PR set. I have like a little bit left in the tank, so I'm not burning myself out. So each week, like my body's gonna get used to heavier weight, like in a slow progression. Like for example, like this week I did 205 for 10, but the week before I did 200 for 10, and that was easy. So, and then 205 was easy. So like next week I'm probably going to increase it to maybe 210 or 215. The goal is 225 for 10, but that's besides the point. So frequency tip number 2, I don't know why I'm saying rule all the time. Yeah, tip number 2 is frequency. The more that you practice something, the better you're going to get at it. So I'm going to let you guys kind of figure that out yourself. But as I said, the kind of like a happy medium is 2 days a week. Tip number 3, and the last tip that I'm going to give you guys, assess your weaknesses. So basically, what I mean by that is basically, where do you struggle the most in the bench press? With the numerous people that I've talked to about the bench press, they say that their lockout is their weakest point, or they struggle at lockout. So we're gonna start there. So if you struggle at lockout, or you fail reps at lockout, then that means your triceps are weak. And so what that leads into is basically a lot of tricep work, a lot of tricep volume. Like for me, every week I try to do 3 tricep exercises to basically build them up and increase them. Also, there are variations of bench press that you can do to help with your lockout, because again, if you practice where you struggle and get better at it, then it's not going to be a weakness anymore. So there's the floor press. You guys have seen me do that. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I have that on my Instagram. It's basically you lay on the floor and then you just bench normally, and obviously the floor is going to stop you from going all the way down, and that's usually where people fail, is at that point. So yeah, floor press is great. I definitely recommend that because that has helped me in the past. Board press, a lot of people don't have this like piece of equipment inside their gym. What I usually do is get one of those like yoga blocks and kind of put it under my shirt and kind of bench like that. But honestly, like the floor press and the board press, I would rather do the floor press because it's a dead stop, and with a board with a board press you can actually like sink a little bit. So yeah, and then the last one that you can do, there are more exercises, but these 3 has helped me in the past, and I've programmed this with my clients like before. So the last one is going to be close grip bench. Not a surprise there. You guys have seen the close grip bench like all over the internet, and to build up your triceps. Obviously it's going to be just like the bench press. You can honestly, if you would like, you can actually put some of these variations on your second day. Like for the heavier day, which is your first day, is going to be just regular bench press, and then the second day is going to be variation. That's what I usually like to do if I'm not on program. If I'm just basically not preparing for a competition, that's basically what I do. Another thing is that if you fail a bench press at the bottom, then that means your chest is weak. So what I recommend is basically just building up your chest with like heavy volume, with like smaller movements, not necessarily like just a bench press. Sorry about my dog. But if you want a bench press variation to help you to be strong out the bottom, is basically pause reps. A lot of people don't do pause reps. I'm sorry about my dog. But yeah, most people don't do pause reps, so I believe pause reps are great if you're trying to build strength out the bottom. So that's what I recommend. And then with building up your chest, I would definitely recommend learning how to basically activate your chest when you're doing exercises, like stretching the muscle and then contracting, because a lot of people don't understand if you work like this part of your chest. This part is the outer chest is very important, because obviously when you're coming down, like your chest is in a weak spot because it's fully stretched. But if you're strong, if your outer chest is strong, you're able to push up or contract the muscle. So that's basically it. If you get stuck at the bottom, pause reps and just basically build muscle in the outer chest. So I know that was a lot and that was like super speedy, but I'm very passionate on all of these tips and how this can help you guys, because this has helped me in like over the years, like a lot. I owe a lot of my success with my bench press by pretty much taking time to kind of learn how to do these movements. That's it. That was actually great. That was like one take, guys. I love it. So yeah. I hope you guys like this video. I want to do more of these. And yeah, leave your feedback by smashing the like button and leaving a comment, and subscribing, obviously. So yeah, hope you guys like this video. I'll see you in the next one. The next one is going to be the next video is going to be pretty fun. So I'm going to leave that I'm not going to say anything because it's going to be a surprise. But yeah, stay positive, stay motivated. increase your bench press. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.